Hey, we're a day late, but let me tell you something. We're not a dollar short. Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris, IE Sports Radio is on. The Flyers right now, it's 1-1. They're in Detroit. The Philadelphia Wings got a big win in their home opener. Anything else going on, Bobby?
Not that I know of. I was gonna leave with the Wings. I thought that was gonna be the entire show, the Wings.
Yeah, I mean that was impressive to get that home opener and get a win and make up for the loss they had out in Southern California. But yeah, we'll try and figure out if there's anything else going on, and we'll be back right after this and talk about it.
All right.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Well, Bobby, I guess the two biggest issues are how well the Eagles are playing. And now, if you've heard this before, stop me. Joel Embiid injured.
I don't even want to talk. I'm done. We've been done with them. I mean, it's not even fun talking about it anymore.
No.
It's just old. I mean, it's boring. I mean, when he went down the other night, I had no emotion. It was just, you expected it. I mean, it's every play I expect him to get hurt. Nothing surprises me with the guy. He plays lazy. He was late getting to that play, which is why he got hurt. If you notice the play, he was late getting back, and he shouldn't have been there. Why is he under the basket for a rebound? He's out of position.
I mean, he's almost out beyond the baseline, trying to come back and trying to get that rebound.
Right. He's not a smart player. He's just not. He's not a smart basketball player. I was watching a video earlier today. I think it was on your timeline with Kobe about how today they play meaningless basketball.
If it was on mine, I didn't see it.
I thought
no, it's true. It's true.
They have no purpose. These guys just go out there and run around. He said when he played, they scouted the other teams. They knew where they were going to be on defense. They knew what their tendencies were. They ran plays to expose other teams' weaknesses. These guys just go out and shoot 3-pointers. That's all it is. It's a 3-point contest.
Well, that's
that for years.
That's exactly what the NBA has turned into. I mean, if you think about it, and I know it would never happen, but a 3-pointer should only count as a 3-pointer in the last 5 minutes of the game, or in the fourth quarter, because now, I mean, like you said, that's all it is. It's a 3-point shooting contest.
Yeah. Did you hear the new proposal? They have a couple of proposals. I don't think we talked about this last week. The one for basketball was all the fouls for the game they saved for the end.
Yeah. End of the quarter. At the end of the quarter,
at the end of each quarter. Okay.
Yeah.
So at the end of the game, basically there'd be a foul shooting contest.
Yeah, but all that does is put you in a situation where you're just trying to foul the worst foul shooters on the other team. So you're just looking at you're not looking at a basketball game. You're looking at a foul game.
I guess they would keep track of who got fouled during the quarter and send them to the line at the end. I mean, why would you do that though? You don't want them taking foul shots at the end. I mean, even if they're bad shooters, they still have a chance to make some. I
always thought, at least, kind of tongue in cheek, but I thought too, the way they have it in the NBA, if you go to the foul line, obviously, except for an N1, you're getting 2 shots. If you miss them both, your team loses a point.
Yeah.
I mean that'll never happen either.
I mean, it's not like they've never made changes. I mean, years ago they used to have the 3 to make 2. So I mean, they have made changes to the foul shooting rule.
Last night, for example, okay, this I mean, I consider it meaningless, this in-season tournament or whatever, but it was the only game last night, the marquee game.
Yeah.
You have the Thunder, who are arguably one of the best teams in the league. Milwaukee as well. I mean, okay, they had two teams who are arguably really good. I mean, Milwaukee struggled to start the season, but you look at their roster, they're really good. So is Oklahoma City. But Oklahoma City goes 1 for 17 in the first half from the 3-point line, and they're only down like 1 or 2 points.
All right. I mean, that's the league. And the no lead is safe. I mean, you're watching a basketball game and the team's up by 10. That's nothing.
No.
That's 3 possessions and you got a 1-point game. I mean, it used to be a 10-point lead was like insurmountable back in the day when you watch that basketball, an NBA game. Guys play defense. Nowadays, it's just, like we said, the 3-point contest. Even Oklahoma City, I mean, they're good, but they're not great. I mean, they have Shea Gilgeous, and after that, I mean, Chet Holmgren. I mean, these are unproven guys.
Yeah, he's been hurt, and
I mean, Jalen Williams. I mean,
right.
They're good, not great. Just like the Bucks. The Bucks can be good, and they started 2-10. They started the season,
something like that. It was really bad.
It was horrible. I mean, and now they win the in-season tournament. What's it mean? It means nothing. They get a couple extra dollars. Like these guys need the extra dollars, but I mean, Giannis went out there and did his typical triple-double, and Damian Lillard put up 23.
Yeah, and their role players hit shots where the guys for the Thunder could not. And
before we came on, I anticipated talking basketball, and I go through the league, and after Boston, there's no one. I mean, you could put 10 teams in a hat and pull one out. There's no definite second best team, I don't think.
At this point, there isn't.
Yeah.
There could be once some moves are made in a few months. You could see Dallas being a good team again if they get a piece or two, which is questionable. I mean, you would think that team in Phoenix should be good, but they're
right on paper.
Yeah, but they're always injured. I mean, that's the thing too.
Yeah.
I mean, every night you look, there's an all-star team injured, and
I know.
You know, we've had this conversation, and it's been the conversation here in Philadelphia. As I look up, the Flyers are still 1-1 in Detroit. I was on board with the idea of, okay, look, you just shut down Embiid and get it healthy, and
that's not possible.
Rev it up next season, but as soon as he starts playing, it's
right. Exactly right. There's no such thing as a healthy Embiid. It doesn't exist.
Nope.
It's it doesn't matter what you do. He plays one game, he's hurt. I mean, it's just, it's pointless.
You know, I didn't realize. I knew of one before, but I didn't realize it's like the third time he's had a broken bone in his face.
It's a sinus fracture. What does that even mean? Why can't he play? What's that over here? Your side of your nose?
I never heard of it. So
I mean, either.
Is it a broken nose? I don't know.
No, they said a sinus fracture.
Yeah, I mean, you remember back in the day? Well, he did it too, where he wore the mask. But Sean Bradley put that mask, broken nose or something. You put the mask on, you go out there and play.
Imagine a guy like Charles Barkley, Rick Mahorn. They would have just got back up and kept playing.
Yeah, they stuff some cotton in there and let's go.
This guy acts like he got shot. I mean, he's the biggest baby I've ever seen in sports. I've never seen it. And people say he's a warrior.
You know, if you're a guy like Embiid, like you said in the 80s, and you don't have a sinus fracture, you're not playing hard enough. So that's
Bill Laimbeer probably fractured every guy's face in the league. I mean,
him, Dennis Rodman, yeah. Exactly. I mean,
he's the softest player I've ever seen. I'll keep posting it. I don't care what you all say to me on X. You can say whatever you want that he's tough. He's not tough. There's nothing tough about him.
What's going on, Yo? We're gonna talk about that game on Sunday. So glad you could join us tonight. Happy holidays, everyone.
Yes.
As we will hit Christmas next week, and we probably won't be on. You never know. Maybe a Christmas gift. We'll throw something in there, but
maybe later in the week. We won't do anything Christmas Eve or Christmas Day.
No, it's like I said. It's a good thing though that the Philadelphia 76ers have the GM they have, and he was smart enough not to sign Joel Embiid to a long-term extension. Oh, wait a minute.
I think anyone on earth would have been smart enough not to sign him. He's like that guy you work with that gets hurt and you don't see for years and they're still getting paid. That's what he is.
Yeah, I mean, and you look back at big men who've had this going back. I mean, I always go back to Sam Bowie because Sam Bowie played high school an hour from here. I mean, he actually played in my hometown when he was in high school, and
he ended up going to North Carolina and playing for Dean Smith.
And it just and then he was taken before Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
and
Clyde Drexler, right?
No, I think it was Hakeem.
That was Olajuwon.
I think it went Olajuwon, Bowie, Jordan.
Okay, then Drexler. I think Drexler was in the same draft as Jordan.
Yeah, it's the thing where you look at Embiid, and we've seen him be able to play at a level that you would say no center has ever been able to play at that level. But if you're the best ability is reliability and availability, and you go down through all these injuries he's had. But then again, he was drafted. The Sixers got him because he was injured.
Right, he was damaged goods to begin with. They should have returned. If he was a product, they would have got returned before he played. I mean, he's always been hurt. He always will be hurt.
And you look at some of these things that he had. I mean, the 1 year he had to play with. What was it? I mean, he had a ligament tear in his thumb, so he had to play with that thing wrapped on his. It's just always something. And
guess what? When he doesn't play, it's actually a more enjoyable brand of basketball. They actually move the ball around. They run, they move. When he's in there, it's just stationary. Everybody just stands there and waits for him. And he's always late. He's always late getting down the court. He's always the last one down. He's always behind on defense. I can't enjoy watching him anymore. I really don't.
At this point, just bring back Paul Reed and let's get on with it.
He got released.
Yeah, he got released. So
the other thing was Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler may be traded. I think Pat Riley knows that he got old. He got old quick. He's rumored to be going to either Phoenix, or Golden State. I mean, Golden State likes to get older stars. So I wouldn't be surprised if he headed out there.
I don't know. I'm trying real quick to think of both teams and to see what they could match up to make the trade.
Well, Phoenix would have to be Bradley Beal. They make the same money.
Well, Phoenix would do that because Bradley Beal can't get on the court
right
on a regular basis either.
They would have to give up draft picks.
Yeah, and Golden State. Oh boy, who's making big money out there? I mean, you got Curry and then Andrew
Draymond
Wiggins.
Green.
Yeah, Draymond Green.
They would have to give up like Trace Davis, one of those young guys.
Yeah,
Podzinski.
Kuminga. I don't know if they have to give up Kuminga.
Kuminga was one of the guys rumored. Yeah.
If I'm the Heat, I would want him.
Yeah.
Guy who seems to be, he's a decent player with the potential of
right.
being better than that. So
right.
Yeah, you'd want something back.
And Miami's a very well coached team, so I'm sure Eric Spoelstra will put him in there.
Yeah, and Jimmy Butler,
to do well.
What do you I mean? Butler has what this year, next year, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe, and then that's.
Yeah, he's already on the decline. But at least he plays. He's out there. He's not hurt every night like some people.
When you mention Butler, it always gives me the flashback to the Sports Illustrated cover with the 5 Sixers, and it was like, boy, this is exactly what the process was meant to do.
Tobias Harris over me. That's what I always think of.
Yeah, it ended up being that. I mean, even that year, when the year they had to be, it was Butler, Tobias Harris, Embiid, Simmons, and Redick, and it was like, and they
were must watch. They were must see basketball. You had to tune in.
Yeah, they were, and they hit the second round against Boston, and they couldn't beat Boston. I mean, it was I guess they lost 3 games.
The one that really got me was the Atlanta. That was their year.
Oh yeah. I think that was the next year. Oh
yeah,
Atlanta. I mean, and what stood out so much in that made it so bad was there was games they had like 26-point leads and lost.
Yeah, because they couldn't guard the 3. That's exactly the reason.
And they ended up. It was so bad that they were behind 3-2. They go to Atlanta and win. Right. They go home and lose Game 7.
I think they were like an 8.5, 9-point favorite in Game 7.
It just, but that was the game where Ben Simmons wouldn't.
Yeah, that's where his career. That was the end of his career. That game.
It was that was it.
Yeah,
and you could just see him saying, "Well, they would have fouled me."
Well, that was it. You saw the end of a career, right? One play ruined the whole guy's career. I mean, all he has to do is go up and dunk that ball. The Sixers probably win the game.
Well,
they probably go to the championship.
Yeah, and he passed it to Matisse Thybulle, who was fouled and
missed both.
Yeah, and it just.
Did he miss both or miss one? I don't know. It doesn't matter. They lost the game, but
yeah, they just don't get out of the second round, and
they won't get in. They won't even get to the playoffs this year. I don't think.
No. We thought maybe there'd be the possibility of them being a 9 or 10 seed and having to play in or whatever. That's not going to happen, and you can't.
Plus, they lost Jarrett McCain. He's out now.
Yeah, well, that was going to be mentioned, and the thing is, you can't look at the situation and say, well, if they could just get a spot and get Embiid back, because we already know. But I saw McCain surgery. Okay, meniscus out indefinitely. How can that be?
It should be what, a 4 to 6 week
mean,
recovery. I mean, he's a young guy.
I didn't know meniscus tears ended seasons.
No, I don't think it's going to end the season, but
yeah,
they haven't put a timeline on him.
Well, when you say indefinitely, I mean that's what comes to my mind. You're right. It might not end the season, but yeah, just another blow because in that game against the Pacers, I mean, he hit his head hard.
Yeah,
he goes off for concussion protocol, and the next thing you know, it's his knee.
And he played through it. He played another guy that played through the injury, and then you find out later that he's out.
Amazing. They won last night. Paul George and Maxey carried them over.
Yeah, those always tough Charlotte Hornets.
You know, I wanted to ask you this when I was watching that game last night and the way it ended, and that's who they play again on Friday.
Yeah,
with the way things and this ties into Philadelphia. The way things are in the NBA, how are there certain teams, Charlotte being one of them, who are always bad?
Just the culture. I mean, I feel like you walk into the building, it's just, it probably goes through you that this team's a losing team. I mean, I guess when you get drafted, you know they're a losing team.
You can't. I mean, they can't get a couple decent drafts and put a team out
They
there
did. They got Brandon Miller along with LaMelo Ball.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We just talked about how bad the league is.
Yeah, I mean, because the rest of the team stinks that bad, I guess, that even though they're going to put up 50 to 60 points a night, they don't have another 50 points in the team.
And that just is okay. That doesn't amaze me. It amazes me how long it's been, like with teams like that, where it's just every year going into it.
Yeah.
And this North Carolina, that's basketball state.
Mecca. I know.
Yeah. That in Indiana.
I know. It's true. I mean,
and it's just.
I mean, you got them. You got Washington, who's bad every year.
They are.
The Nets. The Nets have always, historically been bad. They were good for a couple of years. But yeah, there's certain teams, and Sacramento Kings are always, towards the bottom.
Yeah, they're up
and down. New Orleans. Yeah. They get players, but they don't win.
Portland's been bad for a while too.
Yeah, and they made this big deal about this Scoot Henderson guy. I think he's all right. I mean, he's average. He's not a star. They picked him number 2 overall. I think he's a flop for number 2.
And Detroit's been bad for a long time too. I mean, given when we were a lot younger, I mean, Detroit was always one of the good teams, but now they've been bad, and that's.
They were bad. I mean, they were great when we were young. They had that generation, like we said, with Rodman and Lambeer and Joe Dumars. And then they won a championship with Larry Brown. I mean, that was out of nowhere.
Rasheed Wallace. They ended up beating the Dynasty Lakers.
Yeah, with Richard Hamilton and Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah, and Larry Brown couldn't do that in Philadelphia. He couldn't beat that Dynasty Lakers.
He almost did.
Yeah, well.
He just, I think if it wasn't, Shaq and Kobe, they would have the Sixers would probably beat anybody that year. Except for that.
True. It always happens that way that they run into those teams. It was like the year of the Flyers, 97, when they finally made it to the Stanley Cup. They just happened to hit the, I don't want to say dynasty, but the Red Wings, who were winning every year, or the Flyers always ran into the Devils, who had won a number of championships. I looked up tonight though at the ice here in Detroit. It doesn't say Hockey Town. I don't remember when it used to say Hockey Town.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, I was thrown off the other night because the Flyers are playing Minnesota, and what they do now that they make the boards have Philadelphia ads on them even when they're on the road.
I know.
So I was looking at them like, why are the Flyers? It's always when you look at the screen, the team on the right's the home team. So I'm like, why does it have Minnesota on the right, but it looks like a Flyers home game? And it wasn't.
No, and I've seen that. I've seen that this year where I didn't notice it before. I think it may have been It may have been in Ottawa when they won in overtime, and then like on the back along the boards and everything, it said Flyers win, and I'm like, okay, but that's technology now. It's like when you watch a baseball game and you see all the ads behind the catcher,
Right.
and you go to the stadium. It's like no ad there.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I dropped a bottle of water in the. We have a new cat. All of a sudden, a cat came into our life.
Oh, good.
We found it under our steps out back.
A kitten.
A little baby, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. That's how our youngest one, Milo, he just some friends of Abby's had showed up with it, and he ended up staying. So
it doesn't even have a name yet. She found us.
There you go.
That's a Christmas surprise.
Well, that might be her name. From Three's Company, Chrissy. Yeah, Chrissy was short for Christmas.
Right. Christmas snow.
Yeah, exactly. So Yukio joined us, and I cannot buy into the Eagles yet. But if somebody would have told me they would have swept the AFC North,
right,
I would have thought that person needed to seek a therapist.
Right. I would have said 100-1 odds on that one. That's not happening. They did it though. They beat the Bengals, they beat the Steelers, the Ravens, and now they beat the Steelers, Ravens, Bengals, and Browns. And they beat them all. They beat them all handily. I mean, none of them were even close. The Eagles' defense is just really good.
Jalen Carter has become dominant.
Yeah.
As long as he can controls himself after the play.
Yeah. I mean, they have a defensive line that gets pressure constantly. They have a lockdown secondary. Quinyon Mitchell's the best cornerback in the league.
Yeah.
You can't get an open yard on the guy. It's like he's like he read your pattern before you run it. I mean, he hasn't given up a touchdown.
Nope.
He should have a couple picks. C.J. Gardner-Johnson took away a couple interceptions from him. But I mean, if he has those interceptions, I mean, it's just he's Pro Bowl. I mean, he's all pro.
I mean, we even
what a pick.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we even saw Jalen Hurts turn it over on back-to-back plays, and it didn't matter.
Nah. The defense, I had total confidence they were going to stop them. Now, I mean, have they played a all-out, greatest show on turf type team like the Lions? No, they haven't.
No, I mean, would it be different against Buffalo?
I was just going to say that. It's funny you say that. I work with a Buffalo Bills fan, and I said, I don't think Josh Allen will be able to do what he does against these teams, against the Eagles, because he likes to run that sweep around the right side. The Eagles will be there. I mean, they're powerful. I mean, their defensive line's so strong. There's no weaknesses. I don't know. I wouldn't as an opposing team. I don't know how you beat us right now.
No, it's a very good question, and that's why I'm still hesitant because of what we've been through before. But
I can see it. I mean, I perfectly understand. I mean, they could go to Washington and lose this weekend. It's possible.
I could.
I mean, but it's so tough. They're good in all four facets. They can run the ball like no other. They can stop the run. They stop the pass, and they can. That's our only mini weakness is the quarterback's throwing. I love him as a runner. I've said it a billion times. He's a great athlete. I don't like his long ball. I think he can throw the intermediate pass. He's good with the slants. The A.J. Brown 10-yard slant. That's unstoppable.
Yeah. When he's got to make a second and third read or go down the field, you might have.
I just wish that they would incorporate the screen pass. If they incorporate, even if it's Kenneth Gainwell, they have guys that can get out there on the edge and block downfield. Jordan Mailata on the one side, Lane Johnson on the other. I wish they would put a couple screens in the playbook.
Gainwell's looked good recently.
Ever since we downed them.
I know.
Ever since we talked about him, he's been great.
Yeah, he has. You know what was impressive, and you don't see this in football. especially in the NFL anymore. You just don't. And for everyone out there, we will mention Penn State this week. We tend to put them aside in college football aside.
They take on those always tough Mustangs from SMU.
I know that might be an upset in the making.
I don't think so. I don't understand how that team made the playoffs.
The Eagles got the ball back with 10 minutes and 40-some seconds left. They were at their 2-yard line.
Yeah.
In the fourth quarter, and Pittsburgh never touched the ball again. That's beautiful. That's all by design. I mean, that's because they're getting 4 or 5 yards a run. I mean, that's the reason. Yeah.
It's dominance. I mean,
it's just got to be these next 3 games that no injuries, especially to Barkley.
Right. And Saquon was a little banged up this weekend.
Yeah. When he goes into the tent, it's just like the air goes out of Philadelphia.
So something happened to him. He's not going to be 100% this week. So hopefully they do limit his carries and they can get it, especially against the Giants and Cowboys. I feel like they can blow them out early, put those games away, and then put him on the bench for the second half. I don't care about individual records at this point. I'm sure he doesn't either because he's never won a damn thing with the Giants. So you got to realize, you got to think he wants a Super Bowl.
Oh, exactly. I mean, I don't think it's the risk versus what the reward. I mean, at this point, but I mean, just the fact that they were able to get him in the offseason, it's just like I still what and the guy the Giants picked is gone. Their quarterback, Daniel Jones. Now
he's gone. He's on a practice squad making $180 million.
Oh my goodness. My question is, and this is kind of, at least for me, and I don't know if it's for you, is just going under the radar. The Vikings any good? I mean, obviously they're good, but are the Vikings the real deal or no?
I mean,
you can't have that record and not be. You know what I'm saying?
Of course they're dangerous. Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison.
Yeah.
It's the same Darnold. No, he doesn't do it for me. And I don't know about I think their defense is decent. It's just if you get them outdoors, I think no problem. I mean, they do have the same record as us, and they do play Detroit. I just think the Eagles have to get that number 1 seed. I mean, that's huge because you're going to go into those domes. It's going to be tough. As good as we are, you get that home crowd. It's going to be that atmosphere. It's not going to be easy.
Yeah, and especially I think this year, even though it plays out in most years, I think them getting that week off is really important.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's really important. The team that I would worry the most about is Green Bay at this point. For some reason, I know record, but you look at Minnesota, I'm like, Detroit, yeah, Detroit, but I don't know. Green Bay just, because I'm picturing all the times they went to Dallas and beat them in the playoffs. I know it's a whole completely different scenario and everything.
Yeah.
But they are a team that's used to playing outside.
Right. I mean, I think we can handle Josh Jacobs. I think, he's one of those bigger, not as fast backs. I think we'd handle him. It's the receivers. I mean, they are good, but Jordan Love, I think, has taken a little step back this year and hasn't been the same player he was last season. For me, it's Tampa Bay. It's no question. I mean, it's just they have the confidence against the Eagles that I don't think any other team has. Baker Mayfield just has that swagger about him when he plays us.
Well, their offense. I mean, their offense has turned it around recently. I mean, they have turned it around. I mean, and so have the Rams. I mean, I didn't realize the Rams were 1-4 to start the season. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
They turned it around too.
Well, they got Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp back. I mean, that's going to turn around a lot of teams.
And they were fortunate enough that in that division, not the strongest of teams when Seattle, San Francisco have fallen off in Arizona.
Yeah, that's key. Not having a healthy 49ers team. That's another team that would have been an obstacle come playoff time that you don't have to worry about. And I think Washington, they may get in there, and that could easily be your opponent in the first round.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely could be. And like we said, I think given, I mean, I would rather have the Eagles remain healthy and have to play an extra playoff game than have them be banged up and get the bye. I think that's how everybody would probably look at it.
I mean, and of course they're going to need help. I mean, you're going to have the Bears will be our favorite team this weekend. We're going to have to hope that the Bears can handle the Lions. I think they can too. Like outdoors, hopefully it's a cold day, and the Bears had them beat on Thanksgiving, so maybe they'll have a little revenge. This will be the Bears Super Bowl this weekend.
It will be.
And it's going to be cold here. I know it's going to be cold in Philadelphia. It's going to be like 25 degrees Sunday. So we try to get that weather for Sunday in Chicago.
You have to get that Chicago weather and see if there's going to be any snow.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Plus the Lions, David Montgomery out for the year.
Oh yeah. Their injuries are really concerning for them.
Definitely. I say snow. Looks like we're getting some snow this weekend.
As long as you don't have to shovel, I'm fine. I'm not a fan of doing any of that. So yeah, while you look up the weather there,
that's what I'm doing.
Oregon national champions, you think?
The way they looked, I think so. I mean, that's like they have speed, unlike any other. It's going to be 33 degrees on Sunday in Chicago.
No, it's
1% chance of snow.
It'll be an interesting test for the Lions, given their recent injuries and given like what you said. I mean, it's the Super Bowl game for the Bears, and yeah,
go Bears,
definitely.
I mean, in past seasons, in past years, it seems like the Eagles always do get what they need from other teams. They always do get that help.
It does seem that way. You're right.
Yeah.
It does. I mean that's the thing. I mean, it happened this weekend. I mean, it didn't happen against the Vikings. The
Buffalo.
But Buffalo helped out.
Well, who has the tiebreaker between the Eagles and the Vikings?
I don't know.
I know we don't have it against the Lions.
Yeah, I don't know if that's been. I haven't seen anything where anyone's figured that out yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, but one of those. I mean, there's going to be a couple more losses there, and you don't know. I mean, the Eagles could slip up a game if they're going to. I think it would be this weekend, but hopefully not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way on earth they lose against the Giants or the Cowboys. Neither team has a quarterback, and it's just the Eagles defensive line will just be all over Tommy DeVito and Cooper Rush. It won't even be a contest.
And the way things have shaken out, they're not going to be in a position where they can rest guys and take and lose a game because of the way the Vikings and
right.
The Lions.
I think the Eagles' second team could beat the Giants and Cowboys,
or the first team playing backwards.
Yeah, I mean that team stink.
Yeah, they do. And like you said, I mean, with college, it's Oregon's to lose, obviously, and I think they lose.
Maybe Georgia. Georgia's a good team. They have the pedigree players. They have a good. I'd like to see that actually, Oregon, Georgia for the championship. They have a great defense and they have a great offense. That's always fun to watch.
So Penn State wins one, and then they're probably out.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they would be Boise State in round 2.
Oof.
They go either way. They have the great running back Ashton Genty.
Yeah, and
he got robbed of the Heisman. He had like the best year ever for a running back, and they gave it to Travis Hunter. I don't know why, but
just running backs just seem to always get left out of like that MVP and things. It just.
Well, I think because he went to Boise State, that's probably what cost him. If he would have went to Oklahoma or Alabama, would have been no question about it.
Especially if it was Alabama.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't mention this last week, and I wanted to ask you about this. We talked a little bit about it before, and I know we talked off the show. Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah. So what they do, the Veterans Committee first, and then now they're doing the okay.
Because I looked here, and what I'm looking at here is Kevin Cooney, and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the 8 guys he selected from the list. I disagree with some of them, but
I saw it. He didn't have Bobby Abreu.
No, and Bobby.
I responded to him. I'm like, Alex Rodriguez belongs. I don't care what you say, what anybody says. He had the stats and the career to get in. Who else did he have in there?
Andrew
Rollins.
Jones. Andrew Jones.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think so.
Jimmy Rollins he had. Of course, we agree with that. Chase Utley, I don't know. That's borderline.
Well, I can't separate my feeling for Chase Utley versus
I love Chase Utley. He just didn't have a long enough career.
And Ichiro, obviously.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And he's got CC Sabathia,
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Billy Wagner.
I mean, he had a lot of good years. I mean, was he a Hall of Famer? Borderline.
Yeah, when you look at closers, if he's not getting in, there's not too many coming up behind him.
I was just thinking that. Like, who nowadays do you see as a Billy Wagner type? Nobody.
I mean,
There's
Kimbrel.
no Brad Lidge type.
Kimbrel's going to be a Hall of Famer.
He's the last of them.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
And of course,
if he keeps playing, he's not. But I mean, he keeps raising that ERA. Speaking of Hall of Fame, we got 106 people in here. I need you all to go to @BobbyCash215. I need you to vote for this guy right next to me for the Hall of Fame for IE Sports Radio.
yes, please, thank you.
Do that now.
I will thank you for that. Bobby is already in, and
Yeah.
well deserved. Well deserved.
Thank you. That's over you.
Bobby.
You keep getting these tough matchups though. Why do you have to be? You always have to be against like the big guys in the second round or first round. Of course.
It's just a Philadelphia bias. You know how it is.
Yep.
Larry has never liked me. I mean, let's just be honest. Larry has never liked me. And Bobby, you somehow snuck in the back door. He's never really liked us ever since we won that the NCAA pool our first year. We got on him to get the hoodies.
Yep.
Yeah, and when else I look at this list, Mark Burley.
No, Mark Burley's not a Hall. He said yes to Burley.
No. I gave you all the ones he said yes to. He said yes to Beltran, Andrew Jones, Francisco Rodriguez, Billy Wagner, Chase Utley, Ichiro, CC Sabathia, and Jimmy Rollins.
I mean, what is there? 8 people can make it, or anybody can make it, right? As long as you're on 75% of the ballots, there's no limit to how many can get in, right?
Yeah, right. And I don't think there's. I don't know if there's a. I have to look here closer. Okay, vote for up to 10 players. You can vote for up to 10.
So 10 players can make it technically.
Yeah, I mean, you can vote. Yeah, voting for 10. I mean, Ian Kinsler's on here. Russell Martin.
No, that's the guy I told you, Russell Martin. How's he on there?
Brian McCann. And now Andy
Good,
Pettit.
good players, not Hall of Famers.
Absolutely. Andy
How do you
Pettit.
even get on the ballot? There's like a minimum requirement to get on there? You have to have like 1,500 hits or 1,000 hits. Like I don't even know how.
And be out and be retired for 5 years. Yeah, I guess it's interesting. I mean, Curtis Granderson.
I thought you just said Embiid retired.
Oh no. Technically, I mean, in a way,
That's true. I mean, if he wasn't getting that, if he was making $50,000 a year, he would retire.
it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, Curtis Granderson, like you said, good player. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer.
No, definitely not.
Torrey
He had
Hunter.
50 home runs one season.
Torrey Hunter. Andrew Jones is an interesting name, though.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, his career was cut short due to injury.
Yeah, and I don't know if we have a more of an inflated value of him because of seeing him play as much as we did against the Phillies.
He was good. I mean, he was
Definitely.
he was a Gold Glove center fielder. He had 400 home runs. Let me see.
Yeah, he was close. I believe close to 500.
Wow. I mean, if he had 500 home runs, then he's definitely a Hall of Famer. That's the minimum for me.
He didn't get there, but I think he was close. You'll tell me in a second.
Yeah, I mean, It's funny. He actually hung around a little bit at the end and got some stats with the Yankees. He played for the White Sox, Texas Rangers, Dodgers. He bounced around.
He did.
He had 434 homers,
Okay. 433.
1,933 hits. I think he just falls short.
Yeah.
Only a 254 average.
Manny Ramirez is on the list.
Yeah, I mean these guys. They're Hall of Famers to me. All these guys. I'm not in this. They're never getting in crowd. I think I look at the numbers on the back of your baseball card.
David Wright.
Nah, not long enough. He didn't do it long enough.
And two more names here, quick. Troy Tulowitzki. I don't think so.
I mean, he's another one. What do you have? 5 good years?
Yeah, maybe.
He's been retired for 5 years. Doesn't seem like it.
I know it doesn't, does it?
Oh, not even close. 1,391 hits, 225 homers.
So no.
No shot.
Ben Zobrist.
No. Ben Zobrist was like a utility guy.
Next, I mean, under him, you'll see Ben Davis.
Ben Zobrist, 167 homers, 1,566 hits, 266 average. He's barely a good player.
Oh, he's
How do you get on the Hall of Fame ballot?
That'll be his. That'll be his.
Aaron Judge does that in 2 years.
That'll be his claim to fame. Just being on the ballot.
Yeah, Hall of Fame ballot contestant.
Yeah, I would transition into the Flyers minute, but I'm just going to pass it. They're losing 4-2.
Thank you.
Boo. Forget it. Now, I have 2 top 10s.
Wow, top 10 time.
Yes, top 10s.
Anybody in here? Just feel free.
And let me find here. Here we go. This one I think you'll have fun. We'll have fun with both of them, but
okay.
The first one is the top 10 defunct sports teams or names, because the franchise still exists, but the name doesn't.
Okay. Wow. Defunct.
I know. I like the word.
All right. Montreal Expos.
Number 2, the Montreal Expos.
All right. We going modern day? We're not going like the Colt 45s, are we?
No. There's only one that's not really modern day on here. Only one that really isn't modern day, but it has to be on the list. It has to be, and it has to be number 1.
Cleveland Indians.
that would be good to put on there. That, and sadly, that doesn't exist anymore. No.
But the Warriors, Philadelphia Warriors.
They actually just won the World Series, the franchise.
Oh, you mean because they moved?
Yeah, well, the Brooklyn Dodgers are not.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You're so okay. So you're going with the move.
Yeah. What I'm saying is the franchise could still exist. The name doesn't.
Okay. St. Louis Cardinals football.
Oh boy, that's a good one.
St. Louis Rams.
Not on the list.
How did the St. Louis Rams not make it? By the way, St. Louis loves sports. Why didn't they sold out every game? Why'd they move to Los Angeles?
It was the greatest show on turf.
I know. They won Super Bowls. That's ridiculous.
And there's not even.
I got one. The Houston Oilers.
Yes, absolutely. Number 4 is the Houston Oilers.
Yeah.
There's not even a basketball team to support there in St. Louis, a professional basketball team.
I know. So, I think there used to be.
Yeah, I believe there was.
The Browns, St. Louis Browns, if I'm not mistaken.
I might be right.
Baltimore Colts.
Yes, number 3.
Okay. They got up and moved in the middle of the night.
That's what they say. They got up and moved in the middle of the night.
The Hartford Whalers.
The Hartford Whalers is number 5. Absolutely.
The Winnipeg Jets. Now they're back. they come and go.
They're back. Yep. They went to Atlanta, became the Thrashers, and then they went back.
The Oakland Raiders.
It's because of how recent it is, but that should be on the list. You're right.
Well, you go Los Angeles Raiders.
Or Los Angeles Raiders. Exactly.
Yeah.
I have one close to that.
Chargers. San Diego Chargers.
San Diego Chargers. Because if you even go back, it was the San Diego Clippers at one point.
Yeah, right. They became the LA Clippers. I got one. The Seattle Supersonics.
Absolutely, number 6. Yeah.
What a cool logo and cool team colors.
And how is there not a team back in
I
Seattle?
know.
Think about this. The Seattle Supersonics, and
They're a hockey team. They have the Kraken.
Right, they got a hockey team before they got the.
I know.
I just shake my head about that one.
I know.
Let's see. I have 2 hockey teams and 1 basketball.
2 hockey teams. 1 basketball, 2 hockey, 2 hockey.
One you could have thought of watching the Flyers over the weekend.
Minnesota Wild, the North Stars.
They wore their colors.
Right. And I'm thinking wasn't there a Colorado team that moved to Jersey, or Jersey moved to Colorado?
Well, yeah, I believe the Colorado Rockies moved to New Jersey, became the Devils. But the team who is in Colorado now is who I have, which is the Quebec Nordiques.
Oh, right, the Avalanche.
And number 10, and this is just a little inside pet peeve of mine. I know why it's never going to change back, but it's the New Orleans Jazz.
Yeah, makes sense, right? Makes too much sense.
Yeah, and but when New Orleans got a basketball team again, the Jazz have been in Utah with that name for so long they weren't giving it back. But Jazz has nothing to do with Utah.
I know. We say that all the time. It should be like the Utah mountain ranges or something.
Well, it's just like Los Angeles Lakers. I mean,
that's Minneapolis.
Yeah, it was Minneapolis is where it came from.
Yeah.
And I don't like the Pelicans. I've said this 100 times. It should have been the New Orleans Brass, but so yeah, some interesting teams to think about. And the second and final top 10. Let me find it here. I had to break my rule for this one because there's current players on the list.
Mm-hmm.
A few current players, but all-time Philly killers.
Philadelphia, the city of Philadelphia, or just the Phillies?
No, the city.
Okay.
Players who killed the city.
Well, the first one
I didn't go way back either.
First one that comes to mind is what's his name? The guy from the Giants who beat the Phillies. Not Mike Mordecai. What was his name? One in the playoffs that killed us a couple years straight. Damn, second baseman. Help me out, chat.
Second baseman? Is it?
Oh, a total blank.
Is it?
Oh no, it was like the unknown guy.
Oh, I know. I'm blanking on it too.
It would have been like 2010.
Yeah. When they had the 4 aces, but it didn't work out.
Exactly. He kept hitting home runs.
We'll get him here.
He's that random that I can't think of his name. So I want to say Dexter Jackson, was that his name? Guy that intercepted the ball for Tampa Bay against the Eagles.
Well, see, I only have on here one player who was a Philly killer for one thing that they did. I have guys all throughout their career.
Cody Ross would be the name I'm trying to think of.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I mean, I see why we blocked him out, but yeah, he ruined everything.
Mm-hmm.
He ruined everything.
Yeah. How about that? Chipper Jones. Chipper Jones killed the Phillies.
Number one.
Really?
Yeah. He's number 1 on my list. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's who comes to mind. He destroyed the Phillies.
I mean, that's just. I mean, that just goes to show how much we agree with each other and how we've grown up and everything. But yeah, Chipper Jones, right? Larry. Let's just call him Larry.
I mean, you always knew he was coming through. David Wright, the guy you mentioned earlier, killed the Phillies.
He's number 4. I mean, Yep, he might not have had the longest career, or his career wasn't as long as he probably would have liked it, but he killed Philadelphia for sure.
Sure did.
I have on here. I have two more baseball players, and they're both still playing.
Wow. So they have to be in the division, right?
They were.
Pitchers, Max Fried.
I don't.
No, we beat him.
And I don't have a pitcher on the list.
Okay, no pitchers. All right. Oh, this is tough. This is tougher than I thought it would be.
Well, think about the division.
I am. Atlanta. I'm thinking Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Olson?
No.
Lately,
who he replaced?
Oh, right. Yeah. I mean,
Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, Freeman. He's a great player. He kills everybody.
He kills everybody. He just asked Nestor Cortez.
Yeah.
I have one other baseball player on the list, and he's number 10, only because, in my mind, I've never seen the Phillies get him out, especially in a big spot. He's been in the division. He's been with Washington. He's been with Miami. Don't think he's been on another team in the division. I actually wanted to pick him up this year, but they didn't. Or maybe, wait, this year? Yeah, this year. I wanted them to pick him up, but he went to Arizona.
Wow.
Josh Bell.
Oh, yeah. He's been on every team, that guy.
No, and is there a big spot where the Phillies get him out?
Yeah, it's always a double in the gap or a double down the line or a home run.
He's batting 180 and
against the rest of the league. Yeah, 380 against the Phillies.
Now I have one NBA player. Let's see. I have two NBA players, 2 hockey, and 2 NFL.
NBA player. Going back in the day?
No, one's going back in the day. And the one NBA player I have on there just because of one thing he did.
Well, Jason Tatum kills the Sixers.
He could be on the list, right? He could be a current player who's on the list. He'll kill him every time.
Yeah,
but it's a Celtic who's on the list.
Larry Bird.
Yeah, Larry Bird.
Yeah, just how unlucky the Sixers have been to go against these franchises like the Celtics, the Lakers, the Bulls. It's just been dynasties that have kept them and a lot of other teams from winning championships.
Yeah, and when you go back and you look through the 80s, it was Lakers, Celtics, Pistons. You got the Sixers in there one year. And
83, yeah, they did win it.
They did.
Hockey, who? Martin Brodeur?
Yes. Yes, number 5, Martin Brodeur. Exactly.
And Scott Stevens?
I could have put him, and that was because, he did kill the Flyers, but he killed everything when he hit Lindros. But and I wanted to correct something.
I got it. Sidney Crosby.
Of course, it's Sidney Crosby, right?
Yeah.
I hate Sidney Crosby. I saw a T-shirt that said that in Wildwood. I wanted to make a correction though from last week. Eric Lindros did not play. I don't know how this popped in my head. He was a Ranger, not an Islander. I said New York, and I said New York Islander.
Yeah, definitely a Ranger. I remember him with the Tide jersey playing for the Ranger.
It still isn't right.
Yeah.
And then I have to round out the list. I have 2 NFL players, both on the same team.
Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman.
You got it. That round, there's probably a ton more Philly killers, but yes, those 2. You could have put Jay Novacek on that list.
Yeah,
Michael Irvin on the list. It just seemed like they even the years where the Eagles were able to beat them during the regular season, they still went on and won Super Bowls, and it just
They had another guy too, Alvin Harper, who was a really good receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Number 80.
What's that?
He was number 80. Alvin Harper.
Do you remember the game? Because I remember where I was watching it, because you mentioned the snow. It was a huge, huge snowstorm here, and at least it wasn't in this area. It wasn't actually at the vet, but the game where they stopped Emmett Smith 4th and 1, and they let him run it again because they said the 2-minute warning ran out, but it
Yep.
didn't. And
Yep.
John Madden had a fit that they were cheating the Eagles,
Yep. Yeah.
and then
That
they
was-
ran the same play, and the Eagles stopped them again.
Yep. That was the famous Merle Reese call. They got him again.
Yep. And it was a good John Madden one too. He said, This is unbelievable.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, they were always fun, but you always knew the Eagles were underachievers. It was kind of like the Bears this weekend. Like that was their Super Bowl, playing the Cowboys. It was still fun. The Eagles were decent back then. I mean, they always had a good defense. The offense was always what was, their weakness. And Randall Cunningham, I mean,
Yeah.
It's a shame he never had players around him. He went to Minnesota the one year, and he was a Gary Anderson field goal away from going all the way.
Gary Anderson had never missed a field goal in his entire life. No, that was, I mean, you just gotta shake your head. It was one of those where it's so memorable. I mean, it's not a Philadelphia moment, but it's so memorable because it was like, well, there's no chance he's going to miss this, and they're going to go up by 10.
Yeah,
and
they were 15-1.
Yeah, I mean,
they lost to the Falcons.
Yeah, oh, man. Another team though who's probably going to be a playoff team.
You think the Falcons are going to make the playoffs?
They might.
They benched their quarterback for Michael Penix Jr.
They might. I don't know. I mean, maybe not with the way Tampa's playing, but
I'd rather them get in than Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I would too. I think they just flexed that game.
Okay.
This weekend, I think.
Yeah, I want to check out Penn. I don't think Michael Penix has it. I saw him play in college. I don't think he's an NFL quarterback. Well, we'll see, but I don't think he has the size. I don't think he has the arm to be a good quarterback in the league.
This I'm looking up here, and every time I look up, there's a goal scored in the game. I mean, it's 5-4. It's 5-4 Detroit with 12:38 to go.
Wow. Detroit was actually -1.5, plus 210. I looked at that. Thought that was a good take. It could be with the empty netter.
Yeah, and that's the Flyers might get a goal here, and they might lose it in overtime, which would take care of that. Yeah, no NBA tonight either. So
yeah, they get the night off after the big championship game last night.
Yeah, and the Sixers. I mean, we won't be on before Christmas, and they play the Celtics on Christmas Day.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing that. I mean, maybe Mr. Softy will decide to show up and play. I doubt it, but maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised. I mean, one thing I didn't mention about that was there's always this with him. Well, here's the situation. He'll be reevaluated in a few days, in a week, or whatever. Look. If you have something broken, where's the surgery?
I don't think you can do surgery on a sinus.
Maybe you can't. I don't know. Boy, it's just
sinus surgery. Get this guy out of here. I can't believe that they can't trade him. Who would take him?
That's the other thing with the extension. You can't.
Yeah, I mean, who would take him anyway?
Who would match that money with players?
Right.
And I guess the other night, I mean, I know it was against the Jazz, but Harden dropped 41. I mean, yeah, You're right. And you know what? Most of his time in Philadelphia, he was hurt.
Who, Harden?
Yeah, he had injuries too.
Yeah. He played a lot more than Embiid does, but yeah.
Well,
he wasn't too bad. He was decent here. He was all right. He didn't cause trouble or anything.
No, nobody. Yeah. Not until he called the GM a liar.
Oh, he was right.
Well, yeah, he wanted he wanted the extension. I mean, looking back now, they probably should have given it to him.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you look at, well, they wouldn't have been able to sign Paul George. So, okay.
Oh, darn.
Right. You're right. Exactly. And, that's somebody had this on Twitter X today, which NBA player which retired NBA player do you wish at some point in their career had won a ring? We always say Charles Barkley, but I think the answer, I think at some point, like him or hate him, either way, the answer is going to be James Harden at some point.
I mean, he's a guy that went to the championship early in his career, right?
With the Thunder, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Did they lose to Miami?
Yeah, they did. They lost to the LeBron Heat.
Yeah, so I mean,
I think they were up 2-0.
I think that was Harden's rookie year.
It may have been, yeah, with him.
That's when he came off the bench. He was the sixth man. Him, Durant, Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook was the other one, correct. I mean, I think when you look back, because Harden's not going to get a ring.
No, I don't think so.
No. I don't even think if you drop tomorrow a healthy Kawhi Leonard on that team,
No, it doesn't matter.
Nope.
So yeah, I mean, he's going to be one of the best ever not to have a ring, probably in all of sports.
No, you're right. You're right. That's true in all of sports. Yeah, he's going to be one. Bryce Harper's going to be another one.
Yeah, that's a good top 10.
It is. Yeah, we may have touched on that.
You might have done that in the past, actually.
Yeah, we may have. That was the other thing I was going to ask before we close quick. We didn't mention the Phillies really at all, but they just
not much to mention.
Yeah, you see these teams making moves, but
no,
but now all of a sudden it's Alec Boehm's got to go.
Yeah, we've given our opinion on that. I mean, where are you going to get 20 homers, 90 of 95, 100 RBIs, and a guy that makes contact, hits 280, gets you clutch hits, plays a decent third base? I have no problem with the guy.
And he's not over 30.
Right. So he's a guy that wherever he goes, I'll be rooting for him. He did nothing wrong.
Me too. If it's Kansas City or if it's, they think Seattle, but these teams, that's the thing. These teams aren't really giving up anything. I mean, right. You look now. Cody Bellinger went to the Yankees. Do you really care? I mean, do you want him in Philadelphia? I mean, what
are they doing? Recruiting old Cubs?
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Rizzo, Cody Bellinger.
I mean, instead of them, the one thing I think that I think they should do, as much as we've talked about, and I don't know why they just don't extend Schwarber. I mean, why wait and go into next off season where he can test free agency? Just maybe they are trying to extend him, and he wants to be a free agent, but
yeah. But how many years? I'm healthy. I'm happy with 2 years. I don't know about the other 5 of him. I mean,
well,
at some point you're going to have a whole team of 40-year-olds.
Right. That's the problem. Probably somebody out there would give him 5.
Yeah, maybe the Yankees. He's their type of guy, or Babe Ruth looking guy.
Where do you think Pete Alonso lands?
I don't know. I maybe the Cardinals. I think that's the only team that I really could see him going to is the Cardinals.
What?
Maybe replacing Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm
surprised it's taken this long. It's December 18th. He hasn't signed.
Yeah, and you would think any team signing him would most likely want him to be a DH, I think. Maybe not, but to bring him in as a DH isn't the worst thing to do.
No, it's not. He plays an okay first base. I guess it all depends on the team structure. If they have another guy that, is an obvious DH or not, or if they have a decent first baseman. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to the Dodgers.
I wouldn't either. Well, I have a thought.
Yeah.
Have him bat behind Harper. But then you got to play Schwarber in the outfield.
It's all right. Yeah, I'd love it. I like him.
I'd take it.
Yeah. I haven't heard anything like that. That's a good idea. Let's go on Philly's Twitter and start it.
Yeah, I mean, look, out of what their options are now, I mean, what are you going to do? Put JT or Castellanos behind him? Are you going to put Bohm back there again if he's still on the team?
Exactly.
I mean, look, hey, out of what's out there, Pete Alonso, I mean, yeah, you probably have what 4 years, 160 maybe. Nah,
I mean,
it might be 5 years, 160.
Yeah, if he does that, yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, because 4 years once he's not getting 40 million a year, but
You're
hey,
right.
I mean, I know the Phillies are not looking probably to spend that money or whatever, but I just think it's time you put someone there to protect Harper, who, right? I mean, he's not going to be Juan Soto, obviously, but who is? But
Right.
out of what's available, look, if I'm the owner and the GM and I want to win, that I take that shot.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that'd be like a perfect fit. It's crazy it hasn't been mentioned. Maybe it will.
I mean, I've thought about it. I should have mentioned it before. And then I always think though, knowing the Phillies, they'll try and get Hoskins back.
But then he signed for 2 years in Milwaukee.
Oh, I know he did.
You mean next year?
Yeah, they'll
I won't be surprised at that either.
No, well, if he bats over 200, you can almost guarantee it.
Yeah, they bring him here. He wouldn't hit 190.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone who's
Yes.
joined us.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Wish everyone happy holidays. Yeah, just keep checking. I always call it Twitter X now. Just keep checking there. You'll find out when we're on, and we're thankful that everyone's joined us and had a lot of fun. And we'll let you know. Philly Sports Talk, Cash and Chris, IE Sports Radio. Good night, everyone.
Good night.